Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to a brand new upcoming updates video. And of course we're going to be starting off talking about the 0.60 update and the bugs status and what's going on with all the bugs on that update and where we currently are. So first, error message when picking up any item with attachments that has been placed on the ground and then moved to inventory, that has been fixed. Player item loss when logging off holding backpack is fixed. Several crashes causing very short server uptime. They said the current known server crashes are fixed. This is a big one right here. The server crashes were probably the most annoying thing while playing the 0.60 experimental, at least in my opinion. So that's a huge one. If it is actually fixed, that's a huge step forward for the 0.60 update. And then client crashes when navigating certain coastal cities. Reproducible client crashes related to rendering are fixed. Weapon attachments twitching randomly out of sync with weapon and player hands is still in progress. That has not been fixed yet. And another one that's also in progress is client stuck on black screen after launching PC in some configurations. 50% of known causes are fixed, the remaining are still in progress. Players seeing other players stuck in climbing animation, reproducible known causes have been fixed. Client crash after exiting to main menu in some configuration has been fixed. Character unable to see their clothing after initial spawn and login also fixed. Client crash when connecting to new server, current causes of this are fixed. Road visible through some objects is fixed, and characters prevented from logging in once connected, fix is pending testing. So a lot of stuff there, a lot of progress done over the past weekend while the 0.60 experimental update was down. Hopefully we do see it back up this week, but that has not been confirmed just yet. And now to a small list of changes for the 0.60 update, some things they have been working on. Configured new buildings for loot spawning, so all the new buildings you guys saw in the showcase videos, like the new gatehouse, the new factory buildings, should now be spawning loot, and we'll get to see that as soon as the 0.60 experimental servers are back up. Tweaks to percentage chance for random items in civilian inventory has been modified. They didn't say if that percentage has gone up for loot to spawn inside of civilian inventory or it has gone down. We're not sure. We'll get to see as soon as we can play 0.60 again. Dynamic event weapons have been temporarily moved to spawn in all applicable military structures. So weapons like the M4s and stuff like that you guys have seen are now spawning at, let's say, the Northwest Airfield tents. Some people like this, some people are against it. We'll get to see if this makes it over to the 0.60 stable. I'm not really against it, but a lot of people think, you know, those should just be dynamic event weapons. But let us know what you think down in the comments. It'll be interesting to see what most people think about that. Randomized loot on infected likely to end up in 0.61, so they might actually test this in the 0.60 experimental. We might see this, but by the sounds of things it won't make it to the stable of 0.60, but they will save it for 0.61. So that's pretty cool. Can't wait to see what kind of loot will be spawning on the infected. Modifications to jamming functionality, they have said that they have dialed this down dramatically, and we will get to see where they, kind of keep it at. Right now they're just testing things for the future builds and seeing where they want this to be. And then 0.60 build milestone goals, new render implementation, of course that has been implemented and bug fixing is underway. Randomized attachments and items random, not sure what they mean by the items random, but it is implemented. Randomized attachments are spawning on weapons. New reload mechanic implemented and modification underway. 60 player per instance implemented and pending final call on server performance. So we may or may not see 60 player servers for the 0.60 update on the stable branch. At the moment it just depends on how that server performance is, and if it's good, I'm guessing we will see this on stable. They wanted to share a few things beyond 0.60, and they said that the engine programming team have been working on some outstanding new things for post 0.60 in the way of shadows from dynamic lights and replacement of legacy particle system, smoke, debris, blood, freezing breath, fires, etc. They did also share this picture showing a light and multicolored light being pointed at the wall, showing how that looks and the different shadows. Next, they had a pretty good segment on dead bodies and some changes that will be happening to dead bodies in DayZ Standalone. First, they started off by saying that currently dead bodies only stay for 10 minutes, and that is to avoid unnecessary burden on the server performance and making metagaming of getting your loot back a bit more inconvenient. So that makes a lot of sense. Those two things are pretty important, and 10 minutes seems pretty good at the moment. But they did say server performance will be stressed to a minimum once they're able to turn off all unnecessary components like physics, AI, and others after death, so it will allow them to stretch the lifetime of dead bodies to the maximum reasonable value. They haven't said what that is just yet, but they did also say later the loot economy will help us fight the metagaming, so people getting back to their stuff, by beginning to remove items when they reach the end of their lifetime, which can be changed on demand. So what they mean by that is, yeah, you might be able to run back to your body, but if it's been a while, your backpack or your weapon or other clothing items may have disappeared off your body because they will have a timer set on them that will, basically have them disappear after a certain amount of time. But the good thing about your body staying there is that other players in the area that have come after 10 minutes of your death will still be able to tell that someone died there, and be able to tell that this is something may be happening in this area just from seeing your body. So that's pretty cool. And that gets us right into this next part, talking about the appearance of dead bodies. At the moment, you can tell that it's a dead body just because of the way it's ragdolled, but that's about it. You don't really know much else about it. You don't know, all the details of that death, but that's going to be changing. And they have said after death, a body can be found in different states, which are visualized by a small or complete change of appearance. They also talked about obviously skinning a body and how that should leave a pile of unusable remains to be removed later, and then also the idea of burying it with the proper tools on the right surface, creating a buildup of soil there, so other people can now know someone has been buried there. But it gets even more interesting than that. They start talking about how a dead body will go through different changes depending on how long it's been sitting there. So they start off talking about flies, and then eventually it will get to the point where it's decaying flesh as the body's been there for a longer period of time. So that will give other players the ability to tell how long that person's been dead. And then depending on how long that body's been there, you might want to use disinfectant on the looted items from that corpse before using them. So that's something that may potentially be added into the game. They did also say that decals which are generated from bullet or melee hits stay on bodies, and coupled with the blood puddles from severe bleeding, these unveil probable cause of death. So these are the methods players will be able to use to know how that person died. You can see their wounds, you can see if there was a lot of blood, or just get an idea of how that death actually happened. And finally they added, note that all changes to character appearance acquired while alive, like beards, bloody hands, and others, are visualized in the dead state too. So there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff which sounds like it would be awesome if it was in the game. Like, I like the idea of the flies over bodies, the decaying flesh, to give you an idea of how long that person's been dead, and of course all the details, if you can see the wounds, if you can see the blood and stuff like that. I do hope we get to see a lot of this stuff in the game, and I think it would be a huge step forward. Next, there was also a new wolf animation that was shown, and you can see that on the screen right now. There were also some pictures released of a new bow which will be added to the game. They didn't give us any details of when this will be added, but that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It was quite a big video here, but a lot of stuff we talked about, a lot of cool stuff. My favorite part is probably hearing that the server crashing issues may have been fixed for the 0.60 update, which makes me pretty excited for it, and also that stuff they talked about with the dead bodies. I thought that was really cool. Let me know your opinion down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you are new, and we'll see you guys in the next video.